Here's a video I never thought I'd have to make. Welcome back to What the Sculpture Geek. Just a heads up, there's no sculpting in this video. I had some stuff happen and figured I'd let you guys know about it. I'm not actually this lazy and new content is on the way. Also, there were 2.5 of you that were real concerned that I hadn't posted in a while. I say half because I know at least one of those notes was written with the help of AI. And that's fine, no hate. If you can't do it yourself, you need the computer to think for you. It's all good. The thought that counts, right? Some people gotta sculpt with the help of a computer. Don't hate, compensate. So I had a heart attack. 3 of them that I know of, actually. And that was a warm-up. Don't worry, I survived. So when I went into the hospital, I was in pretty rough shape. I didn't even call an ambulance. Basically limped my way in there. My Zennial-ass mentality thought the cost of an ambulance ride could buy a lot of clay. And I've got a car, so... Actually, that's not the real reason why. I'll get into it in a second. Anyway, I got into the hospital and they did a bunch of tests. Blood test, oxygen, EKG, x-ray, blood pressure. My enzyme levels were off, which indicates stress on the heart. So they admitted me and I was bumming. A few days later, I had what was called a catheterization, which is when they stick a little camera up through your wrist and they take a look around all your arteries around the heart, see if there are any blockages. Sometimes they go up through the femoral artery in the leg, and sometimes the wrist. They went up through my wrist. So they take a look around at the arteries in your heart, and if they see any blockages, they can do what's called a stent, which is basically a little balloon that they stick in the artery and it inflates and then allows the plasma to flow back to your heart. So unfortunately for me, my arteries were too severely blocked. The main one was 100% and the rest were like 80% or above. So the doctor told me they would have to do like 25 stents, which was not ideal, and there's tons of risk. So the only option was to do open heart surgery. They kept calling it a cabbage, and it's funny because the first time I heard that, I thought it was because they were gonna like open me up like a cabbage, like a clicker from The Last of Us or something. But it actually stands for coronary artery bypass graft. So I had to have 4 of those. So I had a quadruple bypass. They took a vein in my leg. I believe it's the great saphenous vein, it was called. And great it was. Then they took the 2 mammary arteries in my chest and grafted them on and over to bypass the blockages and restore the plasma flow to my heart. So here's a little peek at my scar. I think it's like 10 inches long, baby. Not quite as big as that hospital bill. It's a big one. I'd show you more, but I'm not about to whip my moobs out for free. That's what the OnlyFans is for. How else do you expect me to pay that bill? Raid sponsorships? Maybe I can fight Jake Paul for the rest or something. Oh, also, I don't know if you could see, but I have to wear this heart monitor. I had some issues afterwards, so I have to keep this on for like a month just to make sure there's nothing else going on. Everything's good now. I'm just healing and recovering. Exercising every day, mostly just walking. I'm also in a cardiac rehab program. The biggest thing about recovery was that my sternum was cut open, as they had to remove this bone so that they could have access to the heart and then paste it all back together and everything. So it was basically like a broken sternum. So they gave me this pillow and I had to kind of clutch this real tight anytime I sneezed or coughed so, my chest didn't blow open. Also, if I was in a car, I had to sit in the back seat and wear this underneath my seatbelt. So whenever Lindsay was driving, I'd make jokes about her being my chauffeur or whatever. You only hurt the ones you love. So ignore that. It's a plasma stain. The meds I was on thinned my blood a little too much and I got pretty bad nosebleeds. One night I woke up kind of gushing plasma and got a little on there. Since I don't have to use this anymore, I left it. I thought it looked kind of cool, like a little battle scar. I had my surgeon autograph it and kind of draw what he did to my heart so you can see everything he did in Sharpie here. These are the arteries that are bypassing all the blockages. And I want to give a shout out to him because he's my damn hero. Basically saved my life, and I'm sure he did it with style and class. His name is Dr. James Fingleton, and I had my surgery at Rhode Island Hospital, and everything went pretty smoothly. All the supporting staff as well took really good care of me and did a lot to help me through and keep me calm. So how did it get that bad if I didn't even call an ambulance to get into the hospital? Well, some of you might even remember back in like 2016, one of my Twitch streams, I had gone to the ER because I was experiencing chest pains and some other issues, and basically got laughed out of there and told it was anxiety and some acid reflux. Same thing happened when I followed up with an awful doctor. I'm not even sure if he's practicing anymore, but I hope not. Basically told me to ignore it and fight through the pain. What 31-year-old wants to be told they have heart issues? So I just clinged on to that and fought through for the next 7 years. I saw a new doctor and they ran some tests. I had an endoscopy done, which is when they sedate you and stick a tube down your throat take a look around in your stomach and your esophagus. Make sure that you don't have cancer or GERD, which is a gastroesophageal reflux disease, basically bad acid reflux. There's a little flap between your diaphragm and your esophagus, which if it gets damaged or worn out or whatever, stomach acid can come back up and splash in your esophagus, create burns and all kinds of issues, which I guess is a really common thing with people. I didn't have that. My tests were all negative. Everything came back good, clear, and it just got worse. So there was a span of like 3 days where I was getting this unstable chest pain, and it was waking me up out of sleep, the middle of the night, in the morning. I couldn't even walk into like a Target without having to stop because the pain was so bad. And I love Target. It was this really intense pain. The only way I could describe it is like a little gremlin trying to rip its way out of your chest while someone pours acid in the wound. It was awful. Basically just stand there and try not to die. Luckily, I'm undefeated at that game. Even my new primary care doctor said that I had less than a 0.02% chance of having a cardiac event within the next 2 years. So he was wrong. But yeah, the whole thing was crazy. When I was released from the hospital, they gave me this packet that's like an after-visit summary. And I was reading through this. And inside the packet it says, "Congratulations on making it through your operation." This is like something out of Fallout. So here we are. The good news is that I'm finally getting back to normal. I wanted to wait until things were a little bit more normalized before I came on here and let everybody know what happened. I was in no shape to be on camera before, but I'm feeling a lot better now. I've had to switch my diet up a little bit. Basically just doing like a Mediterranean diet, not eating a lot of meat. Not that I was eating that much before. You know, I'm the type of dude that would order broccoli instead of French fries most of the time. I guess not often enough, but there go my dreams of being a mukbang influencer. So they don't know where it came from, and nobody could give me a clear answer on that, which is pretty frustrating. They thought maybe it could be a genetic thing. I know they did some tests for that, and that wasn't the case. That came back negative. It could just be a combination of things: stress, work, my job, YouTube, all the mean comments on here. But overall, I guess it's more common than you think. I mean, I'm fairly young for this to happen, but it does happen to people my age and younger, and it happened. So at the moment, I still have to kind of take things a little slow. But my weight restriction's been lifted. For a while, I wasn't supposed to lift more than like 5 pounds, so it made sculpting really tough, kind of holding my arms out in front of me for long hours and couldn't really move the camera around and stuff. They tell you to move like you're in a tube, so I could really only go up and down, but not so much out to the sides or in front of me. I guess because of all the pressure it puts on your sternum. So I'm just trying to be a little more careful with everything I eat, make sure to get more exercise, move around. You know, this job is pretty sedentary between sculpting and editing. You know, I spend quite a few hours sitting down, but I've always tried to exercise. I mean, my entire life, even before I was a sculptor, I was like a professional BMXer. You know, I used to do like NBA halftime shows and stuff, but this work is pretty sedentary. You know, maybe it's taking its toll, I guess. So to all my artist friends out there, be aware, you know, get some exercise, eat them veggies. Obviously, I have to take medication now every day. And one of the side effects is that it kind of takes the wind out of your sails, so I get tired pretty easily. So, you know, I just, again, got to take it slow and easy. And that's super frustrating because I usually don't take it slow and easy. So I'm getting back into it. I do have some exciting news. During my recovery time, I've been contacted by multiple companies, but I do have one particular project that I've been blessed with. I can't say much about it, but I'm really excited. It's a really great team of people, and it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably take me a minute, so be patient, please. And so I'm getting there. I'm alive. I'm healing, and I guess I can't ask for much more than that. I just want to say thanks to everyone who stuck by me and continues to watch my content on my channel, and thanks to everyone who was concerned that I hadn't posted in a while. But I ain't going out like that. Lots more on the way, so stay tuned. See ya. All the mean YouTube comments, this is on you, you motherfucker.